So here we are at JFK Airport again, December 17th, 2017, heading to Puerto Rico. They had two hurricanes, devastating one after the other, that left them without water, electricity, Wi-Fi, and just slowly those basic needs are coming together. So now is the time for their emotional healing.
We're going to work with the University of Aguadilla and hopefully get to see some children in orphanages and bring them a very Merry Christmas.
And we're very grateful to Professor Gilberto Herrera de Silva, who has been our partner all along, helping us put this humanitarian mission to Puerto Rico together.
We have a great team, and we're raring to go.
And the wind started blowing, and everything went dark, and the phones went dark also. So we were completely disconnected.
You were just there, like restrained. And we would have to see each other's emotional reactions to the noises and the worries.
Help
Yes, Puerto Rico needs emotional healing because there are two strong hurricanes happened one after the other. Before people can heal, there was one other one, Maria, and everyone lost all their basic needs.
Yes.
How, so do you have electricity?
No.
No. The loss becomes compounded and then it becomes a mental issue. No Wi-Fi.
No.
Since Maria.
Maria.
Yeah. Pero now they're working here, electrical trucks.
Del huracán María, ¿verdad? Que hemos visto las secuelas de situaciones que han ido ocurriendo durante y después de que pasó el huracán.
My name is Dr. Gilberto Herrera Silva. I am a psychologist. I am the director of the Department of Counseling and Psychological Services at the University of Puerto Rico in Aguadilla. I came to know Dr. Kalajan through the phone. She communicated with 3 campuses in Puerto Rico, and we were lucky to be able to answer and invite her to come to Puerto Rico and Meaningfulworld to the humanitarian relief mission.
Because the situation from what we saw from TV was devastating, and it is still devastating. Some people mentioned 93 days they haven't had electricity. Some people still don't have electricity.
Well,
He's from a different part of the Puerto Rico, but he's here to help because this area still doesn't have electricity and still doesn't have communication.
your hope is what for now?
Our help is to educate people, help them release if there's anything they're holding in, to let it out.
Express?
Yes, express, release. Because if they don't release it, it becomes complex trauma. Complex trauma is much harder to heal. Then you have to go to psychiatrist. Who's feeling frustration or who felt frustration that can tell us how is that feel?
Or I was worried because of the reaction of my community, the reaction of my people around me. And even if you try to calm down people, they would be very anxious and they were like all in survival mode. So that would worry me because then I would think they're not thinking straight. They're not like relaxing or they're stressing out. And when you stress out, you won't think straight and worry about the decisions people are taking, the decisions that the government are taking. How is that going to impact mental health? That it's going to happen to us, right? The professionals that we work in mental health. And that's what worries me.
When people feel maybe like no control or the same anger with the government, they can't go to the government and destroy it or do things and take control. So all that anger, it to your friends, to all the people who are beside you. It comes out.
Very good. So this is part of the colonization. This is part of the slavery. This is part of all nations have some kind of darkness in their past. So, but especially if you're a small nation like Armenia, Haiti, Puerto Rico, you have been oppressed by governments or colonization by other groups. And always the pressure goes from up to down.
FEMA was set up to sort of respond to the American middle class. It's not catering towards our lower socioeconomic groups.
But I keep thinking about people, the people here. The people right now that they still have no food, they still have no electricity. There are still towns in the island that have no power and has no roads. There are people, it's not in the news, but basically there's people still there not living.
Yeah. This is an exciting time for us to share with you the sorrow, which will then become half sorrow. Our motto is shared sorrow is half sorrow, while shared joy is double joy. We're going to focus on post-disaster healing, and we're going to focus on meaning making.
So I open the group for anyone who would like to share with us. Could be from the experience that you had, or something that reoccurs and keeps coming up.
Hace 14 años como voluntaria en el hogar de niños Regazo de Paz. Tuve la oportunidad de quedarme con los menores durante el huracán, así que hice mi maleta y me mudé para allá. Había un gran peso de responsabilidad de cuidar los niños. No esperábamos que el huracán fuera tan fuerte. Estuvimos 3 días sacando agua, manteniendo los niños seguros.
Keeping the children safe.
Tuvimos ayuda de una voluntaria que nos preparó un programa. Pasamos 3 días y no nos dimos cuenta que estuvimos 3 días sin parar.
So they didn't realize that they did this for 3 days without stopping. They didn't realize after the 3rd day.
Las 3 adultas no dormimos.
They didn't sleep at all. The
No
3
tomamos
people
un break.
taking care.
Pero no hubo tiempo de evaluar el daño o el dolor que habíamos pasado o el estrés. Así que Dios me dio la oportunidad de venir aquí.
So God gave her the opportunity to be here today with us
Y compartir cómo nos sentimos en ese momento dado.
and share with us how they felt at that moment.
Estamos vivos.
Thank you. So we visited different children homes, orphanage. Well, we had interventions with the staff. We had interventions with the kids. It was a great experience for the kids to be able to read the letters that we brought from other kids from the United States and answer those letters with drawings.
No te lo pongas porque te daña tu peinado, mira, te daña tu peinado. Ahora la flecha, vamos.
El día en que partiste de mi lado, sentí que el corazón.
We'd like to do a little workshop to help you support you in the difficult job that you have. The most difficult job is taking care of children. Orphans come with a package of emotional difficulties. And that's why we're going to give you 3 or 4 tools so that you can take care of yourself and take care of your children. I don't want you to think that, oh, I have to take care of the children first, and then when I go home, I'll take care of myself. No, it doesn't work that way. First is you, then niños. You have to try to talk amongst one another here and not displace it on the children.
I understand, because I have to understand where did they come from.
Exactamente. They come from no families, no parents, parents beating them. That's what they internalize, and that's what they're going to throw at you. So they think, and creatively they find the solution. Then they learn much better.
In this case, we are helping children that is not our.
Yes.
Generation before us, generation after us, we have to educate them to have a better quality of life, a better future, a better possibility. Not the people in the island, but also the people that live outside the island, all the Puerto Rican people. So we have a responsibility for them. And for all the generations, because we have the knowledge and the capabilities and the place. So we have the responsibility to help them acquire a better quality of life, a better future, or at least a different future.
El mejor café de Aguadilla y los desayunos durante todo el día.
Bueno, en la mañana de hoy, Luis, nos acompaña doctora, ¿verdad?, de calibre mundial como la doctora Annie Kalayan. Doctor, thank you, ¿verdad?, por estar aquí esta mañana.
Gracias.
¿Cuáles son los 7 pasos, doctora?
7 steps organically grew from our experience in 46 countries with over 10 different religious belief systems and people with multicultural beliefs as well. The 7 steps also is a scientific tool, but you don't need to be psychologist or clinician to use it. Everyone can learn it. A teacher, an older person, mothers, psychologists, students, everyone.
Como un trabajador social, como un maestro, pudiera utilizar los 7 pasos porque son simples y fáciles de poner en práctica.
We have been planting also trees, 12 trees on behalf of Meaningfulworld, and this tree is for you.
In the place you can visit.
Every place we are visiting, and this one is for you.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Thank
for you.
you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Inspiramos, volvemos a la posición original. Respeto y acepto. Continúa. Muy bien. Ahora vamos a trabajar con el chakra del corazón. Cierren los ojos. Cierre los ojos, continúe su movimiento. Mira cómo ella cruza los brazos cuando toca sus ojos, cuando toca su frente. Estamos despertando nuestra intuición. Estamos despertando nuestra intuición. Estamos generando introspección. Estamos generando introspección.
Yes, open and share the experience of
Aún con los ojos cerrados.
By your hand or by
cosas claramente y sin esfuerzo. Puedo ver
We
las
have to
cosas.
be mindful to heal from the sun rays, and helps us feel safe and connected and relaxed. Yes.
We have been here for 2 weeks now helping out after the disastrous hurricane during the Christmas weeks. And we just had the wonderful opportunity of planting one of the 12 trees that we purchased for Puerto Rico. And it's not only symbolic, but it's very important that there be trees in Puerto Rico to help rebuild the ecology, the environment.
Some people don't know that they have so much trauma. So they're walking, but you can't really identify. All of a sudden they explode, they get angry, or they hit someone, or they hit their wives. Domestic violence, for example, increases after every trauma, every calamity. After hurricane, after earthquake, after wars, after tsunami. We worked in 45 countries. So we have...
You were in 45 countries?
Yes, we saw in our eyes. Pakistan, earthquake, Turkey, tsunami, Sri Lanka, hurricane in Katrina in New Orleans, in Florida, earthquake in Northridge, California. We have been all around. And the books that you see on the table, they are all from 45 countries showing the research that we do.
We have been here for 2 weeks in Puerto Rico, in Aguadilla, the west area, and we have been working very hard with different communities. We think about starting a chapter of Meaningful World in Puerto Rico. I think there are people that are committed to building a new Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico needs to decide once and for all what we're going to become.
You're talking about collective identity
Yes.
of the country.
We have an identity. We just have to let it out the closet.
This has been a great experience, learning experience, a social experience. I really wish, that we could expand this and because Puerto Rico needs it, and not only Puerto Rico, but other places in the world. And I really hope that we can still establish all these connections. Not only in Puerto Rico, but with other places in the world, so this could keep going and help, because it's really needed. So thank you, Meaningful World. And or come back soon.
Another project that we have committed to is to establish men's groups in Puerto Rico to help men work on their difficulty in expressing their feelings and their emotions, particularly at this time when there's so much pain that everyone has experienced. And in order to heal, it's very important to be able to identify and express your emotions so that you can transform them into some meaning.
My experience in this past 2 weeks has been great. I have learned a lot. I have had the opportunity to share with people in the community their experience after the hurricane and how to help them handling and coping with their emotions. The experience with the group has been great, learning from each other, talking about their experiences in other countries and their experience here in Puerto Rico. This is related to my work because as a psychologist, helping people and being there for them is a must. So the experience has been great.
Working with the people here who've been through such trauma has really touched me deeply, and some of the goals that we had in mind here were to meet with the police department, to meet with people in education. In a meeting, just one meeting, we had several of those people in those departments that were just grateful to meet with us and to learn what we had to say. So we had those doors open to us unexpectedly. So that was just wonderful.
This is our last day in Puerto Rico, and for the first time, we only had about 6 weeks of planning to come to this mission, which is really unlike all other missions where we have minimum of 4 to 6 months ahead of time to prepare. But very, very organically, the connections grew from one University of Puerto Rico in 11 campuses to 12 to 15 different organizations, from 10 workshops to 17 workshops. We finished today, our finale was 300 participants, and they surprised us with drums, music, and dancing, and we did our soul surfing for the first time with music and dancing, which was our goal all along in New York, what we haven't been able to actualize, and here we did it.
Not only we help people, then we ask them to fill questionnaires so that we can learn the similarities and differences in how people cope when things break down, when life is hard. How do we cope? What do we do? So the research shows that first of all, releasing is very, very important. That's the first step.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you
Gracias.
for helps. Thank you. It's very helpful.
Gracias.
Cuando uno ayuda al otro, ambos se fortalecen, ambos son más fuertes.
Como hacía el huracán, Muy bien.